All right, we're finally here. Everyone off. And please consider us for your next river voyage.
Apisa adjusted her large backpack on her shoulders, and she let out a little sigh. There she was, on a grand adventure, unlike anything she had ever done before. Was she really ready to do this? To try and show the world what she could do? Her granny said that she had greatness in her. Apisa really wanted to believe it too. Daydreaming about coming to the city of Jadai had been a long-time fantasy. But now, the fantasy was real. The other passengers were already moving toward the gangplank, and so Apisa drifted her attention over to the massive city that stretched before her. Compared to her hometown of Buka, Jadai was easily 10 times bigger. Apisa was a 12-year-old girl, and a little short for most other girls in her age group. However, unlike many other girls across the empire, Apisa was a farm girl. And more than that, she was a Buka farm girl. Due to her agrarian upbringing, Apisa was quite brawny and often in better shape than 15 or 16-year-olds who weren't from Buka. She had short blonde hair that went to her chin and a pair of sparkling green eyes. Today, she wore a bright orange dress with a pair of slits that ran up the sides so she could work, play, or run. The dress was sleeveless, and so her muscular arms were shown for all to see.
Hey, Buka girl, you change your mind? You ready to go back home?
No, sir. I sure didn't change my mind. My granny says that when you commit to something, you see it through until season end.
Your granny is right about that, little darling. You show those snotty little rich kids that we working people can become mages too. Can you do that for us, Buka girl?
Yes, sir. Sure as the day is long. I'm gonna be a real-life mage one day.
Apisa moved toward the gangplank, and as she did, various sailors called out to her.
You got this, little lady.
Don't let any of those rich snots bully you.
Remember us when you become rich and powerful, Buka girl.
Apisa stood on the docks, and she waved back at the crew.
Bye! Thank you for being so nice to me. Hope you all have a safe ride on the river.
She turned back around and grabbed both of the straps for her backpack. While she was still a little nervous, the encouragement of the sailors seemed to curb some of her anxiety. After another deep breath, Apisa started moving toward the Jadai city gates. Each step toward Jadai inflated the sense of how surreal the situation was. There she was, Pite Apisa, middle daughter of the Pite clan, a Buka farm girl. And she was about to enter Jadai, the site of the University of Magic. To her knowledge, no one else from Buka has ever been accepted into the university. In fact, the whole community made fun of her when it became known Apisa wanted to apply. The only person who believed in her was her granny. When Granny said she was going to write a letter to the headmaster asking for Apisa to be accepted, Apisa thought it was hopeless. After all, what was one little letter going to do? But Granny told her, on many occasions, dreams are what make life worth living. Give up on dreaming, and you might as well lay down and let the world do with you what it wants. And it will. So, despite what everyone else back in Buka said, Apisa kept on dreaming. And look where it finally got her. The city walls that surrounded Jadai were extremely tall, and there were guards who walked atop them, looking out for bad guys, no doubt. Buka didn't have any city walls, as it was a large collection of farms surrounding a little town where centralized commerce and community took place. Apisa stepped up to the city gates, where a pair of guards were stationed. From outside, she saw how busy the city was. Bustling streets filled with people, wagons, and there were tall buildings, too. A thin layer of sweat covered the back of Apisa's neck. The only time she had ever seen that many people was during harvest festivals. One of the guards held out a hand as she approached.
Well, hold on there, little lady. I have never seen you before. That's a mighty big backpack you have there. May I please have your name and what your business is in Jedi?
My name? My name is Pite Apisa. I'm here to go to the University of Magic.
You're headed to the university? Are you going to be a laborer there or something?
No, ma'am. I'm gonna be a student.
A student? You have to be joking.
Why do I have to be joking? What do you mean?
Normally only kids with money go to the university, and no offense, but you look like you come from Buka.
I am from Buka, and my family is one of the most successful farming families there. We have plenty of money. That's why I was able to come here. I even got a special recommendation from the headmaster.
Oh, boy, Saito, you're not joking.
I still don't understand what the joke is. Unless you're thinking I'm the joke. Do you have a problem with Buka?
Oh, no, not at all. My apologies.
Oh, well, since you apologized, I forgive you. My granny says, if a person says they're sorry, and they really mean it, it's pointless to hold on to grudges. Just let it go. So I'm not mad anymore.
Your granny sounds really wise. Do you know how to find the university?
I don't. Can you please give me directions?
Alright, so you'll head down the main street until you come to a fountain with a statue of a horse. Then take a right. You can't miss the university. It will be a tower painted up like a rainbow.
Painted like a rainbow? Oh wow! That's so neat! I can't wait to see it! Thank you!
Apisa gave one more hesitant look toward the crowd before she threw herself into its flow. Much like back home, people on the right headed in one direction, and people on the left moved in another. People clustered all around her, and no one paid her any mind. No one greeted her or locked gazes or anything. Back in Buka, it was very likely to meet a friend and strike up a conversation. No one appeared to be particularly pleased about where they were going, and yet they moved with a sense of urgency to get there. Slight panic flickered within her, and Apisa just did her best to maintain the pace of those around her. A river of relief washed over to her as the large fountain of the horse came into view. The horse on the fountain was designed to look like a farm stallion, complete with a yoke to pull a plow. A basket of apples was carved to be at the stallion's hooves. Due to her size, Apisa couldn't quite see over the top of the crowd. To rectify this, Apisa stood up on the basin of the fountain, and she peered all around. Various locals gave her disapproving glances, but how else was Apisa supposed to locate the tower? Her eyes fell upon its grandeur, a tall, multi-storied tower that lorded above all the other buildings. All colors of the rainbow streaked across the walls of the university, as if it were wrapped up in chromatic lace.
I'm really here! I'm totally gonna be a mage one day! Yes!
Did this Yoko Hick really say she was going to be a mage? Oh my gosh. There's no way the university would let her in.
Apisa glanced about for a moment, and then realized a group of 4 girls were looking at her. All 4 of the girls were Apisa's age, but they were dressed in beautiful outfits. They had fancy clothes, their hairstyles were really trendy, and they looked like they were all descended from the noblest of noble families. However, they also had sneers on their faces. Apisa's shoulders slumped a little, and she hopped down to the street. As she landed, one of the girls walked up to her. The approaching girl was slightly taller than Apisa, with long blonde hair tied into 2 pigtails. She had pristine blue eyes.
Hey, you! Did you say you were going to be a mage one day?
I did. I'm gonna attend the university.
There's no way they'd let you into the university. You have to have money to get in. And also, you look like you come from Buka.
I am from Buka, and I do have money.
Huh? You really are from Buka? Oh, you hear that, ladies? She's got money.
Watch out!
Money.
Princess of Buka coming through.
But I do have money. Well, I don't, but my granny does.
Oh, your granny has money. Oh, maybe you should ask your granny for some so you can buy yourself a decent dress.
What's wrong with my dress?
Are you being serious? Like, where should I begin? It's a commoner dress, which is totally understandable since you're commoner trash. It looks like you're about to go work in a field somewhere. Oh, wait. You're from Buka. I bet that's what you do for fun.
Stop! Why are you being so mean to me?
Oh, am I being mean to you, Buka trash?
The 4 girls had gathered around her, and they jeered at her over and over. The words, Buka trash, interwoven with their laughter, stabbed into Apisa like nails. She brought her arms close to her chest, and she kept switching her gaze to each of the girls. Some adults stood by and watched, but others hurried away.
Listen closely, Buka trash. You don't belong here. You should go back to where you came from and stay there. Jedi is for the rich and gifted, and you? You are poor and worthless.
The only thing that is poor and worthless here is your wretched attitude. You are absolutely dreadful, darling. You really should stop while you're ahead.
Who said that?
The crowd parted for a young girl, definitely around Apisa's age. She was taller than Apisa, and she was far more elegant than all 5 of the other girls combined. She had the most beautiful, long brown hair that Apisa had ever seen, and a pair of clear blue eyes that were like icy orbs. The young woman wore a white dress that went to her ankles, and it almost glistened like diamonds in the sunlight.
And who the hell are you? This has nothing to do with you!
The new girl walked up to them and stopped right beside Apisa.
Oh, but it does. Especially when you decide to try and humiliate this poor girl in public. For starters, my name is Ranadashi Reiko. Charmed, I'm sure. By the way, you are wrong about her dress. It is certainly superior to yours.
It is?
There is no way her dress is better than mine!
Actually, it is. You see, her dress is not only fashionable, but it's durable and flexible. It's designed to let her work in the fields and then go socializing with her friends. Darling, where did you get that dress?
I, made it.
You made that ugly thing? It's so...
Quiet, you. And that goes for you 3 as well.
Reiko poked the leader of the bullies in the shoulder.
Oh, you are a sad excuse for one of the upper class. Does it make you feel important to trample on those you feel are below you? Well, guess what? At best, you'll be a bargaining chip for your parents in order to gain political favor. At worst, you'll become just another irrelevant, wealthy person. I've seen it a million times back home. You think you're special, but you're as common as you claim this girl to be. You and your pack of gremlin friends.
Reiko wrapped an arm around Apisa's shoulder.
But this girl is unique. She stands here, born from the very best Buka has to offer. Whereas you four are just like everyone else. Not only that, but your dress may appear to be of high quality, but it's hastily constructed, only sufficient for showing off one's affluence, and actually so gaudy that it's noticeable in all the wrong ways. In short, it shows you off as one of the poorest of the nobility.
For a brief moment, the crowd who had gathered around the spectacle remained silent. They watched with wide eyes, yet more than one of the adults smiled. The 4 bullies were quiet too. The lead bully stepped up to Reiko with a pair of balled fists.
Do you think we're just going to let you say that and get away with it? Let's teach her a lesson she never forgets. We're going to beat you!
Apisa hopped forward with the speed of a starving bullfrog, and she drove her body underneath the bullies. With ease, Apisa had the other girl above her head. She squirmed, but to no avail, and Apisa tossed her into the fountain. A massive splash split out and even caught Apisa herself. Her head, hair, and face dripped with water, but she smiled broadly. The bullies' friends watched with wide eyes, but none of them had moved to stop Apisa or help their friend out of the fountain. The girl broke through the surface of the water, soaking wet.
My dress is ruined!
I don't care what you see or do to me, but this girl here is now my friend. And if you mess with my friends, you get dealt with.
Apisa turned to the other girls and placed her hands on her hips.
Does anyone else want to go for a swim?
No.
Then I suggest you take your friend and get out of here.
The 3 girls finally moved to help the one in the fountain. As soon as she was out, they all moved away from the square with haste. With the entertainment at an end, the adults meandered away.
Thank you for standing up for me. That was really kind of you.
Oh, think nothing of it, darling. Those girls are quite dreadful. As I mentioned before, my name is Ranadashi Reiko. And you are?
My name is Pite Apisa. It's great to meet you. So, are you by chance also going to attend the University of Magic?
I am indeed. It looks like we are going to be classmates as well as friends. That is, if you'd still like to be.
I would very much like to.
Wonderful! I can tell this is going to be a spectacular friendship indeed.
You talk kind of funny, Reiko. All proper and such. Are you a princess or something?
Don't you know, darling? All girls are princesses. Oh, that little harem of shrews is at it again. And this time it looks like they're coming for a new victim.
They are? Who are they messing with this time?
Usame and her little cluster of friends stood in the middle of the 3rd floor hallway. Their current prey was a brand new student who had only come several days prior. The new girl was tall, exceptionally beautiful, with long black hair and bluish-green eyes. She was painfully shy, however, and she had avoided talking to anyone. Rather than try to be social and make friends, the girl was often seen reading scrolls alone. She wore a really nice, high-quality butter yellow dress. At the moment, the new girl was in the middle of the group, with her arms close to her body and her eyes averted from looking at anyone. In addition to Usame and her friends, one of their goonish male friends, Trainee, stood close to the shy girl. His creepy smile, the dark twinkling in his eye, and his gestures toward the girl said it all. Some might have thought Trainee attractive, but Apisa certainly didn't.
Aw, don't be that way. I'm just trying to be your friend. Don't you want to be friends?
I mean, you could really benefit by sticking with us. You're apparently really smart and we're socially connected. You can help us by doing our homework and we can make you look desirable. It's a win-win.
You're really pretty.
The poor, shy girl shrank in on herself a little more.
We have to do something.
I have an idea. Follow my lead. You make an opening for me, though.
Sure thing.
Apisa rushed over to the group with considerable speed. Some of the lesser important cronies in the group noticed her approach, but they couldn't voice their concern in time before Apisa barreled Usami out of the way. Apisa stepped between the nervous girl and the creepy guy.
Hey, watch it! What do you think you're doing?
Reiko wrapped an arm around the girl's shoulder.
Well, there you are. The headmaster asked us to come and find you. He needs to see you in his office right now.
The headmaster wants to talk to me?
You sure does. Come along.
Reiko and Apisa led the girl to the next floor up, but then ducked into a classroom. As soon as they closed the door behind them, the girl shrank against the wall and switched her gaze between the two of them.
What's going on? What are you going to do to me?
Oh, darling, you don't have to be nervous. We're not like those girls, and that atrocious excuse for a boy. We did tell a tiny fib, but that was to get you away from them.
Are you okay?
The shy girl brought her arms close to her body, and bits of her hair fell in front of her face. She peeked at Reiko and Apisa from breaks in her locks. Ever so subtly, she nodded.
Oh, wow. You're a shy one, aren't you? Well, my name is Pite Apisa. It's really nice to meet you.
And my name is Ranadashi Reiko. We don't make you feel uncomfortable, do we?
The shy girl blinked a couple of times, and then slowly shook her head.
You're not so good around new people, are you?
Once more, the girl shook her head.
Do you by chance have any friends here yet?
The girl whimpered slightly, and then gave a very small shake of her head.
Usami and her friends won't give up on you. They'll continue to try and make you their friend, especially if you're all alone. There are also other small gangs of people who might also try and recruit you too.
So, I know you just met us, but would you like to be friends with us? We can keep people like that away from you. And we will never try to take advantage of you either.
We pinky promise. You're not supposed to break a pinky promise.
Apisa held out her hand to the shy girl with her pinky extended. For a moment, the shy girl just looked back through the breaks in her hair. And then she reached forward and locked a pinky around Apisa's. It only lasted a moment, but Apisa grinned broadly.
And what is your name, my dear?
Lara. My name's Lara.
It is a pleasure to meet you, Flara. I can tell the three of us are going to be best of friends.
Thank you for saving me.
You're welcome. How about this? Let's all make a pact here and now to support one another until graduation and beyond.
Oh, that sounds lovely to me.
Reiko reached out her hand in front of her and smirked toward Apisa and Flara. Apisa placed her hand on top of Reiko's and then turned to regard Flara. Slowly, Flara placed her hand on Apisa's. The end. To be continued in The Wrath of the Forgotten.